This case management conference is in the matter of case number CFI 072-2022 and is being held by way of video conference before Her Excellency Justice Maha Mheiri in Dubai. Any orders or directions made after or during the course of this hearing will be issued by the registry on the judge's instructions. Will the judge and the parties representative please confirm that the situation as I have stated is accurate?
Yes.
Correct from the claimant side. Thank you.
Thank you. The claimant is represented by Seoul International Ltd. Lead counsel is Ms. Sarah Malik. The defendants are represented by Clyde & Co. Lead counsel is Mr. Edward Kemp.
Sarah? You want to proceed?
Thank you, Your Excellency. You should hopefully have before you various agreed documents. I'm happy to say that the parties were able to agree, albeit late, the case management information, list of issues, and a memorandum. I do understand that there are issues in uploading this. It's been uploaded on the portal, but it can't be downloaded by the parties. And when I've tried to click on it, only the first page is visible. I'm not sure if my learned friend or the court had the same issue in accessing the documentation. May I ask?
I have no trouble with the documentation.
Mr. Kemp?
We can't download it, but we can. If you click on the page and scroll down, you can scroll down within the document.
Okay, ours has now been refreshed and uploaded. Thank you, I'm grateful. So, Your Excellency, in terms of progressing this matter, I do note that yesterday we had some correspondence from the court asking that I think the timelines be truncated rather, I guess, to keep in line with the overriding objective for matters to be dealt with expediently within the DFC courts. There is a reason that the dates that we've given and have been forwarded are as such, and those are rather, you may or may not be aware that both parties are in a similar matter, which is in trial in June. We have started the kind of timetable, if you like, thereafter, and taken account of the holiday periods, both in December and in July and August, where there's various vacation leaves of various parties involved. That's the only reason that the timeline runs as it does, but obviously in your hands and whatever Mr. Kemp needs to say in relation to that. Unless there's something specifically Your Excellency would like me to address you on, the documents before you are the documents that I think that the parties have been able to agree to assist the court in setting out what the issues are between the parties and the case memorandum, giving a synopsis of the overall matter. And if I may be of no further assistance at this stage, I'll hand back to Your Excellency or to Mr. Kemp. I'm grateful.
Mr. Kemp, in relation to the dates, do you have the similar situation as Ms. Sarah Malik?
Exactly so, and that's why we've agreed the dates as they are in the order, and so there it is. We are mindful, of course, of the overriding objective for the hearing to be dealt with expediently, but equally, both parties are engaged in other litigation. Also, on the defendant side, documents are located in different jurisdictions, Singapore, Dubai, Frankfurt. There's a historic claim going back to 2016, Your Excellency, which is why then we've pushed back the date for production of documents to the 14th of July. Now, that being so, that then falls quite close to summer vacation periods and such. And so it necessarily is that the other deadlines have been pushed back to accommodate that. We for the defendants are content that this order is agreed, and really we ask the court to approve that order, but obviously we're in Your Excellency's hands as to what the court wants to do.
Yes, just for you to be aware, we have judges around the year. We don't take into consideration summer holidays or the vacation in December. So the overriding objective is the most important thing when it comes to the parties. I understand that the lawyers have other engagements in relation to other cases, but the deadlines are put for the lawyers to try as much as they can to be closer to those deadlines. Now, in relation to the production of documents, the dates that are agreed between you guys are extended from 1 month to 1 month and a half, I think, in some situations.
14th of July.
Yeah, I would encourage the lawyers to sit down again and revise the dates. I've tried to communicate this yesterday to the lawyers in relation for this exercise not to be dealt with in the case management conference. If you want, we can deal with it now, or you could communicate between you guys and try to reach dates that are closer to the deadlines that are put by the court.
Your Excellency, I'm subject to what Mr. Kemp says. I'm happy to take this offline. I do just, however, say, and we completely appreciate the court's position that the judges are available, but nonetheless, in terms of the parties and being able to access justice, the parties must be available and their representatives, both who have had equal kind of, we've been representing from the outset. If we have difficulties ourselves around the December period, with respect, Your Excellency, that is a matter that does need to be taken into account by the court to ensure that the parties are adequately represented. So we fully take on board the judges' availability, and we have both Mr. Kemp and I and Clyde's and Gately try to get dates that work for everybody. But nonetheless, it is a fact, and I mean, I can speak openly. I'm also a single mother with children. I do need to take that into account when the children are off school, and I say that openly. So the judges' availability also needs to take into account the parties and their representatives' availability to ensure that a proper and fair hearing does take place. We will, of course, try to shorten these, but I just put that out there on record simply to show the court that we are doing all we can to assist, but there are extraneous factors that are relevant in order to meet the overriding objective as well, which the parties are entitled to have their choice of counsel, who's represented from the outset, the counsel's availability and the party's availability. And whereas I take on board that in this jurisdiction, December may not be an issue, the parties and the witnesses, they do celebrate Christmas in December, and it is a matter that the court, may well need to take into account as well, that it is a holiday period for those. And in the interest of being fair to all, we put those points out, I think, quite openly, so everybody is accommodated. And if I may assist no further, that's what I said at this stage. I'm very grateful.
Mr. Edward?
Your Excellency, we do agree with those submissions that Ms. Malik makes, and whilst of course we can go offline and revise the dates, the starting point is standard production has to be on the 14th of July because the parties are engaged in another case, and for the reasons I've previously submitted. And then there isn't that much wiggle room in terms of the dates that follow. And so one concern I have about going offline trying to agree the dates again is that they may then still not be acceptable to the court, and no one wants to incur the cost of having to attend another CMC to approve these dates.
You will not attend another CMC. You will send us the draft, and I will look at it and approve or return it back to the parties for them to reach new dates. You can have a discussion offline and then update the court in relation to that.
And Your Excellency, just so we're aware, because obviously prior to coming to CMC, the parties have made every attempt to try and agree as much as we can to assist the court. In the event that these dates are the only dates, I take on board Mr. Kemp has taken instructions from a number of witnesses, as do I, with solicitors involved as well. If these dates are not able to be changed and we come back with pretty similar dates or the same, are those not likely to be agreed? Is that the court's position, just so we're clear?
I will look into this matter and I will revert back to you guys. I would request that you look into this matter and try your best and update the court.
Of course. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Is there any other issues before?
I mean, Your Excellency, may I ask for a steer as to what a compressed timetable would look like from the court's perspective, so that at least the parties have that in mind when it comes to looking at the dates and revising the order, because one would not want to be back at square one.
Absolutely.
The deadlines are in our rule book, but I think there's a case plan that we can send you that has all the timetable in relation to the procedural timetable and the deadlines.
Thank you all. That may assist, Your Excellency, and as Mr. Kemper said, we will make every opportunity. We'll make every endeavour to ensure that, there is a more kind of expedited or truncated, but bearing in mind, obviously, availability of the actual
I understand.
witnesses in
Yes.
council. And just so
Okay.
you're aware, Your Excellency, just to put it into context, the matter and why we've started this in July, there is a 5-day hearing against the same defendant, and I represent the claimant in that matter, and Mr. Kemp represents the defendant. So that hearing stops at the end of June, and we've really started production as soon as we can thereafter, so as to ensure that there is not crossover, but that full attention is given by council and the parties to the matter in hand, and that's already listed at the DFC courts up until the end of June. That may put it into context. You may or may not be aware of that matter. That case finishes by the end of June, I think the 24th.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Excellency.
Is
From
there
our side,
anything
there's nothing
else?
further.
No, Mr. Edward?
No, thank you.
Okay. Thank you both for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, Mr. Kemp.
Thank you.
Bye.